using a spiral puff pastry dough. So let's get started because the pastry dough has a couple of different process. So what I've done so far was measured out my flour. I have 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to add a pinch of salt. Now you're incorporating your butter into the flour. Keep mixing. And we're doing 2 different doughs. The first dough is just a little bit of butter incorporated into the flour, and we're going to make a water dough. We'll use water to knead the dough together. And the second, we're going to use just butter and the flour. So I am mixing the butter into this. So my butter is pretty much broken down. I'm not feeling any lumps of butter in here. So again, you're going to see the flour is a little bit more coarse than before, and that's the butter. Now we're going to add our water and start kneading this. I'm going to make a hole in the center, add water, and mix. Again, add water and keep mixing. Not warm water, because you don't want to melt the butter. And we're going to keep mixing this dough with the water. You don't want the dough to be too hard. And I add a little at a time, just because you don't want to get the dough too wet. You want to see, I need to incorporate everything that's at the bottom of the bowl into here. So you keep mixing until it all comes together. I think we need just a little touch of water. I get from Mom, because whenever she's kneading any dough, she makes sure her hands are clean and the bowl is clean by the time she's done. Okay, so this, at this point, it's pretty much how the dough should look, but we're not done yet. So my dough is ready, pretty much here. Now, just put it on your surface, sprinkle a little flour, and let's keep working this dough. You want to get it towards smooth, and you're pushing and pulling. Push, pull. I'm going to keep mixing this until I feel it should be about 4 minutes. 4 to 5 minutes. I'm going to keep mixing here, kneading actually, and we'll be back. Alright, so here we go. After about 4 minutes, my dough is nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do is set this aside. I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap, and I'm going to prepare my other dough. So I've got my first dough. It's sitting here. I've got it wrapped in my cling, and I'm getting ready to prepare the second. I have 1 cup of flour in my bowl, and I'm going to add a pinch of salt, mix my salt, and then I'm going to have 7 tablespoons of butter. Soft butter. It cannot be out of the refrigerator. It should be at room temperature. Do not put it in the microwave, because then you have a liquid that you're dealing with. Now what I have to do here is incorporate all of the butter into the flour and get it into a dough-like consistency, so I can actually create a ball. Continue mixing. Remove all my excess from my bowl. It's going to become like a consistency of a paste, I would imagine. I would want to say a thick paste, almost like cookie dough. Stuff is jumping out of my bowl, and this is pretty good at this point. As long as I can bring it together. so. I'm going to pick up everything in here, make a ball. Again, there's no water in this. You're going to end up with a ball that's half the size of the other one that we made previously. Stuff in my hands that I don't like. And there we go. It's your butter and this is your water dough. Let it sit for a little bit. I'm actually going to put the butter in the refrigerator for 15 minutes. And we'll be back to put it together. Okay, so I've let the dough sit and it's kind of really red. This was in the fridge, so here we go. So now we're going to start. This is actually the interesting part, and this is it's pretty amazing how this works out. So, take my dough, and I'm going to cut this into 4 parts. Half. I'm also going to take this dough and I'm going to do the same thing to it. I am, again, half. Now we're taking this and we are going to make a ball. So you bring in the ends and create a nice ball. You need a little flour, roll it in the flour, and again, continue with the other 3. Again, roll a little flour just to get it nice and smooth and round, and continue. I'm pretty good with dough because I kind of grew up watching everyone at home cooking, making dough. It was part of our everyday meals, breakfast. Our moms and grandmoms always had to knead flour because that was what we had for breakfast. Alright, so I've got my 4 flour and water doughs sitting, and now I am going to get my balls of the butter dough. Okay, got 1. We're just squeezing. I'm not adding a lot of flour to this because it'll break it down a little bit, and I don't want that. I want it to keep my 3rd, and I'm on to my last. Press and roll. The dough starts cracking, kind of bring it back together with your hands and keep rolling. So there you have it. We've got our 4 butter balls and our 4 dough balls, and we will now get ready for our next step. Okay, so next step is I'm just going to sprinkle some flour onto my work surface, taking the ball, and we're going to create, again, like I did earlier in one of my other videos when we were doing the potato dumplings. We're creating this sort of a mushroom top. So I can then take this butter dough and press it into here, and we're going to continually get it in there. And we're gonna pinch, turn, pinch, turn, pinch, turn. And want to close the bottom properly. Just roll it around, get everything nice and press it out. Now when you press it a little bit, you're getting all the other butter dough in there. And I'm covering this with a damp cloth to keep my dough from hardening. Again, next I'm creating my little pocket to fill the next dough into it. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Roll and finish off on your work surface. Press down, and you can actually feel the butter dough in there. Press it down, and I've got it under my again. So I'm gonna finish doing these other two, and we'll be back for the next step. So I've got my 4 doughs all done, and I'm gonna start back. But I start in the order in which I roll them out. So let's sprinkle some flour on our work surface, and we're gonna press this dough out. Make sure, and I'm like, I can feel the other dough in there. And now we're going to roll it out. You want to roll it pretty thin. If you can get a rectangular shape, it's even better because it'll help us with the process that we're working towards. Get off excess flour. And that should be good. It's pretty thin. So now what we do is we grab our corners, the edges, and we start rolling. Roll. We want a tight roll. Roll, roll. And we're going to press. And we're going to roll it in the opposite direction. Press it down, and now we're going to roll it out. Ends and roll. This is a little tougher to roll out because of the fact that it's been rolled with the flour, but just work it, put some pressure on your rolling pin, and it's pretty well rolled out. Got this rolled out. Here we go, and we're doing the same process again. We're going to start off and we roll. Keep it tight. Roll, roll, roll. And that's pretty much it. So here we have this. You might need to add a little water if you feel like just have the ends secure, but if you just press it, bring it in, tap the corner, and there is our first complete dough. And here's what it looks like at the sides. Here. You can actually start to see some of the rings. So I'm going to continue with the other three, and I'll meet you guys back in a minute. And here you have our 4 doughs all completed, and you can see, you're starting to see all the spiraling that we're having here, and once we cut them, you'll actually see more